Obviously, extremely disappointed and heartbroken, especially for our seniors in the outcome of last week's game. But the sun came up, and our guys are a very resilient group, and they understand that we've got a job to do here. That was not the last game. And we've got a job to do, which is to prepare to make the most of an opportunity to go 1-0 in Manhattan, Kansas. We're still fighting for some really good bowl games. We're fighting for a really, really good record. And we're fighting to give these seniors an opportunity to go out with 4 straight winning seasons and hopefully 4 straight bowl game wins as well. So wiped the tears from our eyes, picked ourselves up, dusted ourselves off, and got back to work yesterday. And like I said, I couldn't be prouder of the resiliency of this team to get back to work yesterday. Obviously, as you guys know, Mondays on a normal week are our days off, so guys are focusing on academics today as well as treatment and studying Kansas State on their own, and we'll get back to work on the field tomorrow. Injury update, Jalen Green is doubtful at this point with a high ankle sprain. Keontae Ingram, we've got listed as questionable with a high ankle sprain that we're going to try to get him running or jogging at least here today or tomorrow and see how that feels. One that came up after my post-game press conference, Derek Kerstetter is questionable right now with an ankle sprain as well. Has been in a boot for the last couple days, and we'll try to get him out of that boot here in the next day or so and see what he can give us. But other than that, the injury report continues to shrink, which is a good thing. Questions?
You go ahead and use the raise hand signal if you have a question. We'll start with Ehlinger.
Hey, Coach. A couple of weeks ago in this setting, you expressed how much support that you felt like you had from Chris Delcani to the point that he's willing to get on the phone with recruits and speak to them on your behalf. I want to know if you still feel like you've had that same level of support since the Iowa State loss, and did you ask him by any chance to get on the phone with the recruits this past weekend?
No, I haven't needed to. That offer still stands as per our last conversation this weekend, and he knows as well as I do that the main focus needs to be on preparing to beat Kansas State in Manhattan. But no, that offer was reiterated to me.
Brian, go ahead.
Yeah, Tom, coming into this season, you had a senior quarterback that a lot of us thought could have been a Heisman candidate, and a team with 3 top 10 recruiting classes. And I just wondered, I genuinely want to understand, why do you think this hasn't worked, and why you won't be in the Big 12 championship?
Well, I think any answer I give you right now, Brian's going to come across as an excuse, and so I'm going to focus on Kansas State and an opportunity to go 1-0, and we'll evaluate the things that we did poorly and go back to work to fix those things in the off season. And but right now that wouldn't be fair to our players if I were continually looking in the rearview mirror as to why certain things happened the way that they happened, rather than prepare to beat Kansas State, and that's what we plan on doing.
Along those lines, 4th season in and no championships, which obviously was what you wanted and what you expected. I mean, where do you think the standard should be right now for this program?
Well, I think the standard should be where I always have expressed it to be, which is to be in the conversation and to be competing for conference championships in the month of November and December. We were there this year. We were there a short 2 years ago, and this year we came up 3 points short in our opportunity to advance to play another game, inching our way towards that.
John Howie, go ahead.
Talking about the winning seasons and you got the Sugar Bowl and all that, but how much different is this team now? You say everything's always better than before you came. Is it slightly better? Is it a lot better?
I don't know the measurement of better. I do know again that we've won a lot of games around here, a lot of big games, beaten our rival. We've beaten top 10 teams. We played in New Year's Six bowl games. So that's for you to decide, and that's for everybody else to decide how much better all of those things are. 10-win seasons, New Year's Six bowl games, beating top 10 opponents. That the measurement of better, I don't know. That's for you guys to debate, but those are the things that have happened. I mean, that's indisputable.
Kirk, go ahead.
Tom, you mentioned you spoke with Chris Del Conte over the weekend a couple of times. Do you have clarity in your mind on whether you'll be back next year, or do you feel like it's up in the air?
I am absolutely and completely focused on getting our team ready to beat Kansas State and not worried about anything other than that.
And you did say the conversations were productive, though. Do you feel like?
Oh, very, very much so. Yeah. Every conversation Chris and I have are great. We've got a great relationship, and we have great conversations.
Danny, go ahead.
Tom, what was your overall reaction to Samuel's decision to opt out for the rest of the season, and who is up next at the left tackle position for you guys?
Extremely proud of Sam, to come in as a very unheralded 3-star recruit, be developed by Yancey McKnight, Herman, into a potential first-round draft pick. My initial reaction was just an enormous sense of pride. This was a guy that by his 4th year was voted a captain by his teammates, developed himself along with the help of our coaches and strength coaches into what he is today. And we can't thank him enough for everything that he has given to this program, to this university. And we'll miss him, but he will certainly always be a part of this family. And to answer the second part, I think right now a lot depends on Derek Kerstetter's health. In yesterday's practice, we had, because obviously Derek didn't practice, we had Christian Jones at left tackle with Jake Majors at center and Reese Moore at right tackle. But that was a 45-minute practice. We'll play the shell game a little bit and give a lot of those guys some opportunity there to show if they are ready to take on a Kansas State team that wow, are they good up front. 56, 29, 92. I mean, these guys are I think they're one of the top teams in the country in sacks and TFLs, if not the top team in our conference in sacks and TFLs. And so we're going to have our hands very, very full with that defensive front.
Joe Cook, go ahead.
Continue to go along with offensive line questions.
I'm sorry, Joe. I can't hear you, Joe. Can you speak a little louder,
Yeah, can you
please?
hear me now?
Yeah, that much better. Thank you.
Going along the lines with the offensive line, what about guys like Andre Carey
bench, and anybody else? Or I know you mentioned those three, but can you kind of talk about should Derek not be able to play, what the competition for those spots and the guys competing for those spots look like for Saturday?
Yeah. Herb and I haven't talked a whole lot about it prior to our 45-minute practice yesterday. I think a lot does depend on Derek's health, and we'll know more as we get closer. But as far as contingency plans, I think, Andre would be in the mix as well as Tyler Johnson.
Cedric, you're up.
Yeah, Tom, I asked you this your second year. You knew this was a tough undertaking. You're almost at the end of year 4. How tough was this just to get back on the winning side of things? And how high is this mountain to climb to get back to top 10 relevancy?
Well, I think we finished number 9 in 2018. So, we did get there in 2 years, and it has been difficult. But right now we're again, we're not worried about top 10. We're not worried about relevancy. We're worried about going 1-0 against Kansas State.
Roger, go ahead.
Tom, you mentioned the job to do. Is that something that it's easier for a team to think about than maybe on the outside? But how focused do you guys have to work to keep this team going to Kansas State, knowing that they're obviously going to be in a bad mood with how their last month has gone to, win another ball game?
Yeah, and they get 2 of their better defensive players back in their linebackers, we think. So no, I don't think this team has never taken anybody lightly, if that's what was being asked. But no, our guys will be motivated. They're competitors. This is what they do. They're young men that compete, and they want to go out and they want to win every game that they play. They want to prepare to win every game that they play, and they know that that's never easy, and it's hard to prepare to win a game. And but by the attitude and resiliency I saw yesterday, I don't think any kind of motivation lapse it will be down the pipe.
Yeah, it wasn't about you guys taking them lightly as much as you said, kind of shaking off the disappointment, and you have to go back to work.
Yeah, again, we've lost a few games around here before, and guys have gone back to work and done a fantastic job. We lost 2 in a row and came back and won 3 in a row just earlier this season. So again, these guys are competitors. They're resilient. They're young, and all they want to do is win and prepare to win. And I don't think this week will be any different.
Chip, you're up.
Tom, one of maybe the concerns among fans is recruiting and momentum in recruiting. How would you characterize where recruiting is right now?
Well, we're doing well in the 21 class. We've still got a few spots to fill. COVID has pushed some of these guys' decision dates back to February, which allows us some time. But I'm excited about the 2021 class that we have committed, but we all know we've got to we got to win those games that we lost by 3 points on Saturday to generate momentum. And but I think those that are committed and those that will be committed understand that we're on our way, and that we definitely have the pieces. They believe in what we're doing, and we're happy with the 2021 class. We got to finish that up, and we've got, again, we're a little bit behind everybody else simply because of the relationship aspect from the new coaching staff and the COVID issues that were presented in recruiting, with the inability of our new staff to get to know some of these young men. But again, feel really good about the class of 21, especially if we land a few more guys that we think we've got a great shot at doing, and then we'll be full steam ahead on the class of 22.
Marcus, go ahead.
Hey, Tom, I just wanted to kind of clarify something you said earlier just about the standards. You guys were here competing for a spot in the Big 12 Championship in November, like you said. So do you think this season has been up to your standards for this team, even though you haven't reached that end goal of the Big 12 title?
No, I don't. We've done some really, really good things, and we've come up short in a 4 overtime game. We've come up 3 points short and 2 points short in 2 other games. And, we got to find a way to win those close ones in the future and, to get us over that hump.
Kirk, you're up.
Tom, I know your objective is to win Saturday, but do you and Mike and your staff, would y'all even discuss maybe playing a little bit Hudson or Casey to develop them for their futures moving ahead?
No, I think, this is Sam's team. He's a 3-year captain, and he deserves to play his final season all the way through, and we're going to give him every opportunity to do that.
So not even a series or two for.
It's Monday morning. Mike and I haven't even begun to talk about anything like that.
Okay, thank you.
Brian, go ahead.
Yeah, Tom, you talking about this season, do you feel like you could maybe win your way out of this situation, or are you just worried that maybe the die has been cast after 4 years?
I don't know. Again, I'm extremely focused on beating Kansas State, not worried about winning my way out of anything, not worried about dies being cast or anything like that. We are full steam ahead in preparation mode to try to win a conference game and give these seniors a 4th straight winning season here at the University of Texas.
Danny, go ahead.
Overall, how would you assess the play of your receivers this season? And I was wondering, is there a tangible difference in the way they're being instructed, only having Andre as their position coach this year as opposed to the last couple of years when they had, Drew and Corby instructing them?
I would say hit and miss, a little bit inconsistent. I thought Brennan Eagles had a whale of a game, obviously, against Iowa State. And as far as a fundamental difference, no, I think, there are nuances here and there that are coached differently depending on position coaches, and coordinators and how they want different routes run. And, a curl route in one offense may look different than a curl route in another offense. So, by nature of the change in offensive system, some of those things are getting coached differently, but not because of necessarily the position coach, but because of the nuances of the new offense.
Nick, you're up.
Yeah, Tom, you talked about this a little bit before, but just kind of going back to those losses that y'all have had, 3 losses by 13 points. When y'all go back and look at those and think about those, what is the connective tissue there? Is it coaching? Is it talent? Is it a lack of execution? What is the common theme that you found in those losses, and why haven't y'all been able to sort of consistently get over that hump as you mentioned before?
We haven't. I think the two go hand in hand in terms of coaching and execution. We have not obviously done a good enough job of putting our players in position to execute in critical moments. And again, we have fallen ever so short because of it. And, that is certainly job number one, is to find a way to break through that barrier and, coach these guys to the point where we can execute. And, we've won some close games too. We beat Texas Tech in double overtime. We beat Oklahoma State on the road in overtime. So this isn't a global problem. This is it just so happened to be the problem in the three very close losses that we had. And like I said, that's priority number one, is for us to figure out a way to get out of our players what we got out of them in Stillwater, what we got out of them in Lubbock, what we've gotten out of them in the past, in previous years, and what we got out of them against West Virginia, and so it's not just one thing, and it's certainly not just 3 games either, and but we've got to find a way to press the right buttons to get our guys to execute in those games the way that they have in others.
We got three last questions in queue, and we'll get through those, starting with Maya.
Hi, Coach. So, after a loss like this, and just during these crazy times in general, I was just wondering, how do you cope, and who do you lean on for support?
Oh, how do I cope? Self-reflection, a lot of that, and I lean on my wife and my family. They're my biggest cheerleaders, and I love them to death, and they're probably the most honest people. My wife is probably the most honest person in my life, as well as I've got mentors in Greg Davis. I've got people here in the building that I trust, and but it's part of it. We've been down this road before, and you bounce ideas off of people that you trust and people that are going to be honest with you.
2 last ones. Ed, go ahead.
Thank you, John. Coach, on the Sam question, did you guys try to talk him out of it? And did you see it coming? And what kind of message does this send other players to say, hey, when the going gets tough, I'm just going to pack it in and get ready for the NFL? I know it's difficult, but did y'all try to talk him out of it?
Not particularly. I think Sam had his mind made up, and nobody blames him. Sam is in a very unique position, a position that nobody on our football team is, which is he has an opportunity to be a first-round draft pick, and I don't think that sets any kind of example to anybody on our football team, because everybody's situation is unique, and I want to reiterate the appreciation and gratitude that we have for Sam and his family, Cornell and Rodica, for their undying support of this program and us. And we are very, very proud to have had Sam. He's going to be a college graduate. He's going to have his degree from the University of Texas. And the plan is for him to go make us very, very proud in the National Football League.
Last one. Go ahead, Chip.
Tom, obviously you could not have seen the pandemic coming, but changing out 70% of your coaching staff after year 3 had some inherent risk to it. What does it say that after 3 years you ended up replacing 70% of your staff. What does it say about your initial staff that you brought in?
Not a whole lot. You know, some left on their own accord, you know, to go be coordinators at other schools. And, you know, it just was time for a change, for us to get over the hump that we were at. We were a pretty good team for the first 3 years here, and felt like we needed a change, and, you know, to get us to be an elite team. And you're right, we could not have seen the pandemic coming. It is what it is. But, you know, I certainly feel like we made the right decision there for the long haul, in terms of building our program into the elite program that I know all of our fans, and certainly, more importantly, all of us in our building want and believe that we can be.